and wanted to share a little bit. Prior to this, the only thing I had done was wake up, make my bed, use the bathroom. I sun gazed for a little bit, grounded myself into the earth, fed my dog, took her out, and then I came back upstairs and meditated. The word that I kind of used anytime I got a little monkey brained or whatever you want to call it when your mind's just like was soham, just to bring me back. I believe that's Sanskrit, but it has a meaning, but it's not even the meaning. It's not necessarily even why I said it. It's just a word that doesn't actually mean a whole bunch to me, so I'm not thinking of other things. So it was just kind of like anytime I was like thinking about what's going on or all the noises of bugs I hear outside, and like as soon as I would hear one, my mind would try to figure out which one it is, and then I would imagine the image of that bug and then watch it like move. And I don't mind that, but kind of the point of meditation for me is just to be intentional with like where my mind is going. And of course, you can't always choose what's going on in your mind, but just having a little time throughout the day, once, maybe a few times a day, where you're being intentional with where your mind is at, I think is really powerful. And one thing, I started tapping like my third eye here because I kept being called to do so. A few images that popped up that I knew were not just from me, but from something else coming through me. I kept imagining this like circle. It was kind of like of light. It was just like almost imagine like a ring light, but it's just the light itself in midair. And it kept going from this part of me, like in front of my face, to above, almost like a halo, kind of. And it was going like here, and then back here, and then here, and then back here. And then it stayed here for a while. And then I saw myself kind of almost like bowing with my head on the ground, with my third eye on the ground. And then I saw myself kind of like hit my head on the ground. And it wasn't out of like, I'm gonna hurt myself. No, it was very much so like to help tap into something. So I was like, well, I don't really want to do that, but I will tap my third eye. And then I saw, maybe they were like snake eyes, but they were like eyes, like kind of like they were almost like something that was supposed to scare me, but they weren't scaring me. It's kind of hard to see. It wasn't like human eyes. I could tell they weren't human eyes. They were some kind of reptile eyes. And along with that, I also kept hearing myself from a few months ago, talking to myself, and saying, calm, 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 calm. I went on this spiritual retreat in Costa Rica at the end of April with my dad. It was a very like beautiful, amazing, powerful, painful, super intense type of retreat. And I was really talking a lot to my inner child to help her feel safe. And kind of anytime I'm feeling unsafe or I'm nervous or even anxious, that memory taps in to my mind and kind of reminds me like, It's all gonna be okay. Just tell yourself, like, be calm. The more calm and relaxed you are, the less, like, maybe crazy things and intense things will happen to you. But instead of being so resistant towards it, or having a lot of resistance, it kind of just happens. And instead of being like something hard hitting something so strong, like intense, like that becomes like this big like explosion. At least that's kind of how I see it. But whenever something hard comes and hits something that's more relaxed, it kind of just like more calm, you know? And I feel like for most of my life I've been very like, not even necessarily serious, but I give off a very serious, I have a very serious face when I'm not like engaged or when I'm thinking and stuff like that. And sometimes even with that I am relaxed, and then other times I'm very stressed or very just high strung, and I feel like I've been really working on that. And that kind of goes into play with, I was talking about this in another video, but I got a call. But the two extremes, the one where I'm on my grind and I'm taking myself very seriously, and I know what I want, and I have goals, and I'm doing things that I want, and I'm not acting a fool. I'm just taking myself very seriously. And then on the other hand, on the other extreme, I'm very much like, you only have this particular life one time. You're only gonna experience this exact moment right now. So why do I have to take everything so seriously? Like, have fun. And I feel like that's really been helping me, kind of like, if I make a mistake or if I do something dumb, instead of being like, why did I do that? And like getting so like intellectualizing everything, I am dehydrated. I instead am just kind of existing and being present and not trying to be in my head. And of course, like, this comes into play and like happens and like kind of happens sometimes when you're over here. Like, they kind of fold into each other a little bit. But I want to come more to that balanced area. And I feel like I'm getting there. And obviously it's going to take time. And just like, I think it's beautiful and magical to just be in the present, because all that matters is now. And trying to not let the ego talk about or try to think about the past so much or the future so much, you know. Thank you for listening. I'm gonna go get ready for the day. I got a long trip ahead of me. I'm gonna go visit my sister and her kids, and I believe my brother-in-law. I will also see him, and that's very exciting. But I got a long drive, so I'm gonna go get some movement in before the long 9-hour drive that I'll be doing. And all right, goodbye.